Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. I'd like to call your attention to one of the documents that was released within this past week from the Idaho State Police, and that's available to you as a member of the public to review free of charge. Information never before disclosed to the public relative to the role that they played in the investigation into the catastrophic events of November 13th, 2022 at 1122 King Road. If you have been following the case, you may have learned that Kaylee, one of the 4 students lost at 1122 King Road, had purportedly reported that she felt that she was being followed by a male, and she had concerns about it in the weeks prior to November 13th, 2022. There is a report from the Idaho State Police addressing 2 suspects, one age 26, a male, and the second age 28, also a male, both of whom were living in Moscow, Idaho. This report was written by Idaho State Police Detective Ryan O'Hara, and he was accompanied by Detective Hugh Powell. He had reviewed security camera footage in Moscow, Idaho. A tip was received that Kaylee had been followed on October 14th, 2022. Note the date, ladies and gentlemen. This is approximately 1 month or less than to the date of the crimes. The summary narrative continues. 2 males were later identified as the blank students. And if you go down to the narrative section at the bottom of page 1, it states here on November 23rd, 2022 at approximately 10 a.m., ISP Detective O'Hara and I, Detective Powell, reviewed security camera footage from, and the name of the store is redacted, in their security room. A tip had been received that Gonzalez had reported to her father that someone was following her while she was shopping on October 14th, 2022. The footage we reviewed was dated October 14th, 2022. Page 2 of the narrative continues. During the review of the video footage, Gonzalez was seen entering at 7:24 p.m. As she enters, she passes 2 males, and you can see them stare at her as she walks past them. The 2 males were later identified as, the names are redacted. Gonzalez walks directly to the alcohol coolers and picks up a case of White Claw. And then in the next paragraph, after picking up the White Claw, Gonzalez walks to the self-checkout registers. Blank sees Gonzalez walk past them and immediately starts to follow Gonzalez. While she is checking out at the register, Blank stands back, watching her from a distance, and once Gonzalez finishes checking out, she leaves the store and walks toward her vehicle, which is parked in the far east parking lot along Farm Road. Blank follows Gonzalez to her car, but does not make contact with her. He turns and walks back inside and meets up with Blank. Paragraph C. The 2 finish their shopping and check out. As they are walking to the exit, they pass the self-checkout registers and both stare at an unknown female checking out in the self-checkout. Blank walks outside and stands next to the pillars in front of Blank as Blank pushes their grocery cart to his vehicle, which is A, and the information's redacted. Once the unknown female exits blank and walks past blank, you can see him start to follow her. She seems to be aware he is following her and does a loop past her vehicle and walks towards the vehicle she came in. Blank did not appear to make contact with her and continued towards blank vehicle. Paragraph 2. On December 1st, 2022, ISP Detective William Adams and I interviewed blank at his apartment, blank, Moscow, Idaho. This is a summary of the interview. For full details, listen to the audio. A. He identified his friend as blank. B. He and blank will go grocery shopping at blank together on blank after school. At times, blank will see a girl he wants to talk to and will sometimes follow a girl outside the store and try to talk to her outside. He will do this because he is really shy and doesn't want to be rejected in front of his friends. Paragraph 3. On December 1st, 2022, ISP Detective Adams and I interviewed blank. Blank has been a student at the blank for almost 2 years. Goes grocery shopping with blank every blank after school. I showed blank a clip from security camera footage of him following Kaylee out to her car when she was leaving blank. And then paragraph 4A, blank agreed that that was him following Gonzalez. Paragraph 4B, blank followed her out of the store to try to talk with her and get her phone number. He was unaware of who she was, and according to him, he did not talk to her. The reason he followed her outside instead of contacting her inside the store is that he gets embarrassed easily and did not want to be around his peers in case he got turned down. C. Blank stated that after checking out that same evening, he saw another girl he wanted to talk to that was checking out in the self-checkout line. He waited outside by the pillars in front of blank entrance until she walked out. He approached her and asked if she would like to talk, and she turned him down. D. He was unaware of the unalivings that occurred until late afternoon on November 13th around 1 p.m. after he saw an email from the university. Blank denied knowing any of the students and had only seen them when a GoFundMe account was sent out to all of the blank students. The night of the unalivings, he stated he was in his room, as he rarely ever goes anywhere except to the gym and grocery store due to his schedule with the school. E. Blank A. agreed to provide a DNA swab. I donned gloves and used a sterile buccal swab on the inside of blank's cheek. I transported the swab back to MPD, where I turned it over to evidence. In paragraph 5, I made a copy of the interviews and placed them onto a compact disc and turned it over to evidence at MPD. And although there's a third page, it's completely blank. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could interject a few comments here. If you've been following the case, you know that shortly before the change of plea, there was a hearing on alternative suspects and an order where Judge Stephen J. Hippler denied the defense's motion to be able to raise the defense of alternate suspects. Now, what exactly was brought forward by both sides is under seal. The court's full order denying that defense motion is also under seal. There is a redacted version of it on the docket. This person may or may not have been one of the alternate suspects that was brought up. If you have any comments, any thoughts regarding this matter, please leave them here. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you very much for joining us here today.